this past week, and that one was pretty special. I recorded it by myself. I normally have a guest or a special co-host, but this particular episode I recorded it by myself. I know a lot of people were kind of on the whole WAP subject, but I wanted to actually use the WAP as an acronym, and what I decided to do, because I actually tend to try not to discuss things that are like the trending topics. Sometimes I'm kind of like funny about that, but I discussed the whole WAP topic, and I did an acronym. Basically, we/women aren't protected. So I discussed how I felt like Black women definitely aren't protected. That's my personal opinion and my personal experience. And I also discussed we as a race aren't protected, which I feel is something we see every single day, especially with the shooting that just occurred in Wisconsin. Obviously George Floyd, obviously that's something that we see every single day, that we're just simply not protected. So for my guest today is one of my homies, I know it's a corny thing to call somebody a homie. Does people still do that? But anyway, one of my podcast friends, Yung Dolemite, the host of the Too Much Game podcast. He's one of my good friends. We always chit chat, inbox together, and we share a lot of the same views. And for this episode, I wanted to have a counterpart. I wanted, a Black male on here, someone that I know he rides for Black women too. We share the same opinion. So I'm going to have him join in, and we're going to discuss the topic, the WAP. And like I said, it's not what you guys what you think, but we're going to do our twist on it. So I'm going to add him in. So give me a second, because I'm kind of still new at the whole live thing. So let me add him in. And he's joining in right now. Hey.
How you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm all right.
I'm glad.
And yeah, we still say homie out here.
Okay, good. So when I said it, I was like, wait, that might have been kind of corny.
No, in California, we still say homie a lot.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm glad we were able to do it, because everybody that knows there's a hurricane in Louisiana and Texas. So the weather it's not storming, believe it or not.
Great.
It's just gloomy and ugly where I'm at, but this is that time of season anyway where like it rains a lot. I don't think people realize it rains a lot in Louisiana in general, but this is that time of year. It is hurricane season. Hurricane season is real, people. It's something we have to deal with every summer in Louisiana. Like, should we evacuate? Is it going to flood? So anyway, so I'm glad we got to record.
It's 100 out here.
See, that's the thing. Hot. That's the bad thing about the South. Like in the summer, it's like either scorching hot or it's pouring raining. It's like we can't get a break.
That's because like when I used to drive trucks and I would be out there, I'll be like, why is it raining like you in the shower? And then like 15 minutes later, it'll be sunny and hot. Like,
and that's what it does. Like yesterday, that kept happening too, because obviously I kept thinking the weather was gonna get super bad. It was storming lightning, and maybe 10 minutes later, the sun was out. So, and it's like a little pattern that'll happen a lot too. So, like I was doing the intro, I was telling everybody, of course, the topic we're going to talk about is WAP. I definitely have to talk about how I just felt. I wanted to twist on it, when I thought about how I was going to do my last episode for August, and I kind of felt like you, because I finally did an episode by myself, So I was trying to think of a topic. At first, it was going to be fluffy stuff. I was going to talk about, how I started the show. And then I was like, nobody wants to hear that. Like, let me, talk about something more important, which I'm glad I used that time to do it. And like I was telling you, I'm probably going to record somewhere by myself. So what's your take on everything? I know we share similar ideals about everything. Like, I was just disgusted. What inspired me to do that topic is when I saw Meg, talking about getting shot, and then everyone like just started going in on her like, oh, she a snitch. And I'm like, when are you a snitch for talking about being assaulted? Because that's pretty much what happened, getting shot.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just the fact that it's the culture of hip hop.
Right.
Like the fact that she's a hip hop artist, I think a lot of people look at her like she's supposed to be a gangster, like the rest of the gangster rappers who lie really and say, oh, I wouldn't snitch, I never snitch. We supposed to all be gangsters and all of this shit. And in reality, a lot of rappers are snitches. A lot of rapping in general is really snitching.
Right.
So I don't hold her to the standard of a gangster. I hold her to the standard of a woman.
Right.
So I believe that she probably should have originally told from the jump because
Right.
she's a civilian. She pays taxes. She don't got a kilo of cocaine in the street.
Right.
Like she not supposed to shoot back. Like what were they expecting her to do? Like were they expecting her to shoot him? Go back and get a car full of niggas and shoot his block up? Like that's not how it works
Right.
in entertainment.
Right.
Like this is the reason they have bodyguards and all that because they're not supposed to be gangsters.
Right.
So I just look at it like people like they can't separate reality from entertainment. Like they think that these are just people who live in our screens. They live on our phone. They live in TV. She's not a human woman with feelings. She's Megan the Stallion, the rapper.
Right.
So instead of them having empathy, like it would be if their sister got shot or their mama got shot, they treat it like some entertainer got shot.
Right. And that's my thing. I just felt like they took the fact that at the end of the day, take away her image, the stallion, all this stuff. At the end of the day, that's a young woman who got shot and she could have potentially got killed, So that's the thing that I was like, okay, no one talked about that part at all. And that's why I even said that in the podcast. I'm like, I don't know if that's a hint at that is because like the way people kind of obsess over celebrities, like they kind of forget that they're real people. But at the end of the day, it's like that's a woman. And that's why I'm like, we as a whole aren't protected because I just feel like the whole chivalry back in the day where just women were generally protected by males, it's like it's a slippery slope, like some people really don't believe in that. And it's like I just think it's sad and it's terrible. I just feel like men in general should have been outraged. Like, what's wrong with him? Like
I was like I was honestly like pissed, like disgusted really, because it's like, dude, pushing a woman over some argument to me is some punk shit.
Right.
Like, I was raised like my mom always told me, if a woman hits you, she a man. Mm-hmm. Like you as a woman, you shouldn't put your hands on no man because you put yourself in a man's position. But in this instance, there was literally nothing she could have did to deserve being shot. Right. Other than literally shooting him first.
Right.
Like the only way I could justify him shooting her is she must have had a gun too. Mm-hmm. She must have came at him with a machete. Outside of that, dude, it ain't nothing she could say out of her mouth that would make me even threaten to put my hands on her. Like, right. She said it was an argument. There's nothing you can say to me that's gonna make me shoot you. I wouldn't even shoot a man over no words,
right?
Much less a woman. And then when you look at the fact that he's a big celebrity in his own right, like he's famous too. Like, so you willing to throw all of this away over your ego,
right?
Like that speaks to how fragile his ego had to be for him to take it that far over something that comes out of a person's mouth.
That's the part that I thought was weird, and you're right. Like she flat out said, like it was just like some silly minor argument, and she was like, "And he shot me." It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like a situation where it was even self-defense. I mean, it's just really bizarre. I wish she did feel comfortable to say what happened, but on the flip side, that kind of goes into my second part of the podcast when she mentioned where the police were nasty. And so that's why she kind of felt like, I don't know what I'm going to tell them, which I get that too, and that's another thing that I think is a shame. And it goes back to if women were generally protected, I feel like the police should have just did their job from the beginning, but I don't know. I just thought it's just terrible on so many levels.
It's literally like the police just chalked it up to a case of niggas acting crazy.
Right.
Well, two niggas got into it, so we're just gonna leave it at that. When it's like, he should have been held without bail.
Right.
Like, y'all shouldn't even have let him go home. Like, dude, we're gonna sort this shit out, but we ain't gonna let you dip because you're a flight risk. You from Canada, you might go back home.
Right, that's the thing that I don't get either. Like, he's not even from here, so like, he's a Canadian.
Yeah, like. And shit, I don't even know if they'll let him go back to Canada because you can't even cross the border with a felony. And that's a felony.
True.
So I don't even know what the logistics of that's gonna be. For the most part, he probably just will have to go out there and go to prison or however they handle it.
True.
But like that shit is just crazy. Like, dude, you out here tripping out, shooting a woman. That's just like the Chris Brown with Rihanna thing was crazy, but this is way worse.
Right.
Like,
You're
because
on a
with
whole
the
different
whole
level.
Rihanna thing, everybody really had questions like, what could she, even when we knew what happened,
Right.
it was still a thing like, what could she have said? What could she have done? Like,
Right.
I wanted to see Chris Brown's face. Like, maybe she attacked him, but for
Right.
you to shoot a woman, there's literally no excuse. Like, there's
Right.
nothing she could have did, nigga. If you ain't got a stab wound, you can't justify this. And I really hope nobody supports anything this nigga does from here on out.
Right.
If he don't get long jail time, because I hope he get whatever sentence you supposed to get for shooting a person. I hope he get all that.
Right.
Like it's no excuse for it. It's nothing cool about it. Like this is one of them situations where like, and when it first happened, I think I was posting some memes. I'm not even gonna lie. But like now that we know the real story, like this shit not funny. Like this
Right.
shit is like, because I think the thing is when it first happened, it was kind of like so stranger than
Yeah, it
fiction.
was really weird.
A lot of us was just like this shit can't be real. So we just was joking about it. Like
Right.
this shit is, it's gonna come out that maybe she did step on some glass. Maybe it's a misunderstanding. Like
Right.
maybe a firecracker went off in the car and like that's what I really thought. I thought it was like a fabricated story. Like it was gonna
Right.
come out that the gun went off, he dropped it. Like, but you intentionally shot her. That's like you're under Takashi now. Like when
Right.
it comes to the people who need they ass whoop on site every time,
Right.
he right there in that category. Like as a rapper, you shouldn't allow no shit like this. Like you got mamas, you got sisters. Like at the end of the day, that's a woman. Like that's a
Right.
black woman.
Right.
You're not supposed to let nobody harm your women, period. No other culture lets nobody harm their women.
And that,
So like this shit is unacceptable.
and see, is exactly what you just said. At the end of the day, that's my argument. At the end of the day, that's a woman. Like what happened to the days when people really, thought that. And that's why I was like, I don't want to hear anything else about it. And don't get me wrong, when I first heard it, first of all, I was like, okay, this must be a joke. Because like what association do they have? And yeah, I definitely died over finding how short he was. Who didn't? But then when you take out all the humor, and that's unfortunately what happens with celebrities, we really do take out the humanity out of them, and everything becomes a meme or whatever. But once the seriousness came into it, it's like, wait, he really did shoot this girl? Like, I mean, and I don't know, some people are like, oh, well, he just shot in a flip. I almost died literally from dropping something on my foot once. I had a blood clot. Like, your feet are important, like everything's connected. Like, you could die, I mean, it's a bullet. Like, she was shot twice. That could have hit any type of artery or anything. Like, she was just blessed that she just happened to get shot, like, literally where she said it didn't hit any bones,
Yeah, he
tendons, or
said he missed the
anything.
bone. So
Right. I mean, not that I doubt Holly, she's not going to have any issues. I mean, it's a bullet wound. And when I saw the
yeah, getting
video,
shot, period. Like if you shot me in my fingernail,
right,
it ain't no coming back from that. Like,
right,
we talked about it on the Cat versus Dog podcast. She was like, what if your friend accidentally shot you? Like,
right,
no, I wouldn't forgive you even if it was an accident. Because why you playing with a gun around me? Like,
exactly,
any friend who you have any value of, you're not even gonna play with them like that. Like,
right,
so it's a stupid situation. Even if it comes out that it was an accident, even though the way she talking, it wasn't an accident.
right,
So
right,
we gonna rule that on out. But even hypothetically, if it was, even if that was the story he told, nigga, why are you as a celebrity playing with a gun
right,
around a woman?
right. Why
Much
did you
less
put it out?
Megan Thee Stallion. Like,
Exactly. Because to me, I'm like, that couldn't have been anything she could have did for you to shoot her like that. Like, what if he had killed her? Like, seriously, that would have been the most insane story of the year, I think. Like, that would have just been, like, absolutely bizarre.
I think it's in that category. Just the fact that he
It is.
shot her.
Right. It
Like
really is.
if he shot at her,
Right.
it's crazy. If she was to say that nigga shot at me, he shot in my direction.
Right.
Like that shit is crazy. Cause why
Right.
are you playing with a gun around a woman? Like it's just some shit that to me it ain't nothing cool about. Like you don't shoot no woman.
No.
Like Miss Talks podcast said, don't even shoot me with a water gun. Exactly. If he
Exactly.
shot her with a pellet gun, a Nerf
Exactly.
gun, a rubber band gun,
Right.
like that is nothing cool about that.
I think the thing that bothered me the most, right? Because like I said, originally when I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do my last podcast in August, it's gonna be by myself. I had all these little topics or whatever. But then when I saw her video, I was like, damn. And then to see the comments afterwards, that is what like really got me. It's like, okay, so a Black woman is basically on video upset saying how she was shot and everyone wanted to attack her afterwards. It's like, what is wrong with you? Like, that's the part that I'm just like, it just really disgusted me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, it literally disgusted me. Like, who does that?
Yeah. Like the fact that they was calling her a snitch is like,
Right.
if she was a snitch, she'd have told the police first. He would have been in jail day one if she was a snitch.
Exactly.
She was more gangster than most male rappers.
She
Because
was.
most male rappers would have went straight to the police. Tory shot me. We was in the car. We was arguing. And nigga shot me. Like,
Exactly.
Drake done got on the stand and snitched before when he got robbed.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of rappers, it might not be public record, but a whole lot of rappers got a snitch jacket.
Yeah.
A lot of rappers snitch on themselves, snitch on their friends.
Right.
Rappers in general are snitches.
Mm-hmm.
So for her to at least hold it down in the beginning is more gangster than 90% of the male rappers that rap about gangster shit all day.
Right. And
like some of these niggas was working with the police, and she at least had the mental fortitude to think, oh, police is shooting niggas, so let me sell them a story, because if I tell them this nigga shot me, we might all get shot.
Right, exactly. Which is a shame.
She was protecting them.
Mm-hmm. And just like just with the Mobley, she just commented victim blaming. Definitely victim blaming, but I just think like it just went on another level. Like it just went on an entirely different level. And yeah, I'm gonna pull the race card. Like, yeah, it's like when a sister says something, everything is a problem. And that's just the way I took it. And the bad part that bothered me, of course, it was us that was making the comments, calling her a snitch. And that's why I'm like, okay, why is it that we can't protect each other? There is enough going on in the world right now. So it doesn't make any sense. And like she just said, she protected him and became the target. Right. He shot her. She still had in her mind, well, let me still cover this up for a sense because it could get even ugly than what it is. And what things did she get out of it? Nothing.
Yeah, called a snitch. Like,
right.
That shit is stupid.
And that's
like just the fact that they calling her a snitch, like I was telling my homeboy, like that's these new niggas.
Right.
Like they don't even understand the code of the streets at all.
Right.
Because anybody who understand the code know, like if you a civilian, you ain't got no hands in the streets, you ain't got no dealings in the streets, you not no snitch if you tell, because that's the only way you gonna get your justice for what happened.
Exactly.
Now if you was in the street, she was a gangster and he stole 2 pounds of weed from her, then yeah, you go deal with that on some street shit.
Right.
But if I'm an entertainer and you fucking shoot me,
right,
I'm calling the damn police. Like,
nigga,
you shot me. What I'm gonna do? Shoot you back and we both off the street?
Thank you. She's a college student at the end of the day. That's a college student that decided to have this musical career. Okay, so I don't know if they've been watching too much Power or something, but this is real life. If you shoot me, you better be damn sure I'm telling. And it's not going to be it damn sure won't be on a conversation from the throne. It'll be with the police the minute you shoot
me.
Okay, like, I'm sorry.
Exactly, because, like I tell people all the time, like, man, just deal with it the way you're supposed to deal with it. Like, she got way too much money. She got way too much going on and, like, to deal in stupid shit. Like, what was she supposed to do? Like
Right.
that's usually my question for people who call her a snitch. Like, okay, what would you have done in that situation?
Right.
You went and got a gun. You went and called the goons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what were you gonna do?
Right.
You gonna go send somebody so you can have a paper trail and you can get snitched on like Ray Caruth back in the day, who got a hitman for his baby mama and got
Yeah.
snitched on the stand.
Yeah.
Like, people look at like they literally look at entertainment like it's literally just a ongoing fictional movie
Right.
and not like it's real life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there was literally nothing better she could have done than just went and told the police that nigga shot me. Go get him.
Exactly. Exactly. He shot me. I mean, I mean, he literally could have killed the girl. And like you said, if he had just waved the gun, I'm telling. Okay. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
because at the end of
yeah,
the
because
day,
there's no excuse for that.
that's what I'm saying. And the thing is, like you said, what would you have done if you were in a situation where your life could have been taken within seconds? You trying to tell me you're going to just have some little fake invisible street code like you would Tommy Ghost or Tasha? Like, I don't think so. You know, I mean, this is real life. And I don't know. I was just really disgusted. I mean, as you know, even when I made the post Saturday, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to take off my crown and my earrings because I get somebody, oh, well, you know, black women get away with a lot of stuff. I was like, what? You know, that's when my little empowerment stuff was about to go out the window. I was like, okay, God must be testing me to see how ignorant I'm about to get. Because I was like, we get away with what? Like, literally, what do we get away with? I mean, I just thought that was just the most ignorant thing I think I've heard off of anything I've posted ever.
That was some sucker shit.
It was
Cause just
stupid.
like it was an easy reply. Like, what do? Because when he brought up Tommy Lauren having to apologize, but did he forget about Oprah and Gail?
But that was my thing. First of all, if you want to try and argue that, number one, here's one thing about me. And like I always do say, I welcome other people's opinions. But where I draw the line is, I'm never going to defend black women to a black man. That's one thing I'm not going to get into. Okay, you came from a black woman. That's it. I will never get into a point where I feel like I have to argue the value of black women to a black man. I think that's when that's something that's beneath me at that point. And the thing is, if you're going to try and make that argument, you better give a good one. Not that it's ever going to win with me, but you're going to use Tommy Lauren as an example of all people, a racist white woman. It's like, that one just I had to like gather myself when I read that because I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
That just shows where his attention and his alliances are, honestly.
Correct.
'Cause
Exactly.
it like that shit wouldn't even have crossed my mind. Like, I
Right.
literally don't know what she's doing, who she's interacting with, what she's talking about.
Right.
Like, that shit doesn't concern me. That shit don't even cross
Right.
my timeline.
Exactly.
So how are you so well versed in what Tommy Lauren got going on?
Right. Which is basically what my reply was. I was like, that's not even in my thought process. I'm like, what? You know, I'm like, what? You know, I just literally was like, are you kidding me? Like, I have no idea what this woman says or does. Like, that's not in my thought process. I don't pay attention. And that's like me throwing out David Duke as a freaking comparison to black men. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah,
just, that would never come out of my mouth. So
yeah,
I was like, next, you know, but at the same token, I felt like, okay, you just proved my point, even though I really, like I said, I don't talk about divisive things. You know, one thing I will say, I feel like some bitter people, if they have an issue with maybe a few black women, they generalize black women as a whole. You think every black male I've come across has been perfect? Obviously not, but I don't sit there and I will never generalize black men, period. That's one thing I don't do. Okay, so I just kind of
yeah.
feel like, can we get that same respect in return? So that's why I was like next with that comment because it just felt like, okay, this sounds like some bitter nonsense, and I'm like, I don't have time to entertain this. Just like vice versa, I don't expect many black males to entertain if someone wanted to do a bitter black woman comment. Like, okay, let's move on from it. That's when I don't entertain that type of stuff.
Yeah, like it's like Nipsey said, like, you gotta put certain shit on goofy time. Like,
Right.
You go over there, you in the category with the goofies. Like, you go sit down with the children and y'all argue stupid shit over there.
Right.
Like, we talk about grown people stuff over here. So I'm not
Right.
gonna even engage you with dumb shit. Like, you gonna sit here and talk dumb shit. Like, it's trolling at
Right.
the end of the day. Like,
Right.
you're just trying to get my attention with some stupid shit.
Right.
You like to, like a lot of motherfuckers, they don't have a smile on their face, so they want to steal yours.
Right.
Like, oh, look at her over here being all positive. Let me come in here and just fuck that up.
Right.
Kick her sandcastle over real quick.
Right.
Like, the shit is annoying. It's stupid at the end of the day. Like, when I saw it, I was just like, I almost want to go to his page, but I'm like, it's a waste of my fucking time.
Right.
Like,
Exactly. Because I was just like, whatever. And it's somebody I'm not even following either. So I was just like, whatever. But,
yeah.
The other part of WAP too, because like I said, it was just, I definitely think I am going to start recording more by myself. Like, it really wasn't hard to do. Like, it was the only hard part, like I said, was getting through the asthma. That was it, running my mouth. Other than that, I was like, okay, this may work better anyway, instead of me having a host half the time cutting me off while I'm trying to talk on my own show. And that's shade for some of y'all, loving shade, but because that's just how I felt. I'm like, what other, if I have any opinion in the world, is on Black women, like I've been one for 43 years, and I'm like, no one's going to try and tell me that things are just peaches and cream for us 100%. And it's not like I'm trying to make us victims, because we aren't. But I'm just saying, in the general consensus, like I said, Brianna alone, that's the only name I got to give if you need an example of how Black women aren't respected. Like I said, that girl's name shouldn't be a trending topic. Her name should be coming in discussion of, okay, they've arrested these officers, they're going to trial. That's what the conversation should be, and it's not. So that alone, I'm like, wipes out anybody that tries to argue with me and say we get away with stuff. No, we don't get away with anything. Because like I said, if that was a little blonde white girl that was shot in her sleep, you better believe those police would have been arrested. And I don't care. If anyone thinks I'm being over the top, you can unfollow, you can mute, you can block. There's so many options to not hear what I have to say.
It's like we all know Lacey Peterson's name.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of white women, when something happens to a white woman, it's a national outcry.
It is.
She's missing. Them white girls, I don't know. I forgot where they was at. They was in, like, I don't know, somewhere in South America, and they went missing. And the whole country stopped for like 2 weeks waiting for these white girls to get found.
Right.
Like, that don't happen when something like 5,000 missing Black girls just getting kidnapped left and right.
Exactly.
And you might get something shared across somebody's story like, oh, our daughter's missing, or my aunt's missing, or whatever. And that be it. But like, it ain't no national search. But
not at all.
I forgot the little white girl that used to do the patches when she came up missing. Same shit. Like, something happened to a white woman, we gonna shut down the presses. We gonna stop basketball games on TV in order to let everybody know we got a manhunt. This blonde white girl is missing somewhere on a boat. We gotta find her.
And here's another thing, though. And when those white girls are missing, you don't see Black people protesting and writing nasty comments saying, oh, we don't care about her life. But that happens when something happens to us. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, if you notice, it seems like the common thread is always the typical spokesperson for the image of white women, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Black white woman. When she goes missing, it's like, oh my God. But let a sister come up missing for the longest. We're killed all the time, okay? And half the time the suspect is obvious. In this case of Brianna, hell, we know who killed her. It's like nothing is being done.
Yeah, they on vacation. They caught the one dude just chilling, like
they living it up.
Yeah, like, it's just crazy, and I tell people a lot, like, when it's your sister, you'll turn up. When it's your mama, you'll turn up. But if you don't know her personally, it ain't no marching and riding. Like, everybody went up for George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, but like Rakia Boyd and the other women who lost their life, it was kind of like, oh, okay, that sucks.
Right. Like, next, and it's just the most sad and terrible thing in the world. I don't get it. And just like the thing that I'm getting so annoyed with is like with her, how people wanted to get the argument, well, they was doing some illegal stuff. What law is it that if you are doing something illegal that you're supposed to get shot and killed, even though there's no proof she was doing anything? But and I saw you make that meme one time, like FYI, now you were supposed to kill people who you think
Guilty people.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's like you can't give me an argument, period. That's the thing. I hate how like the world, I'm not gonna say we, but society, culture tries to justify certain things. It's like, why do we have to justify it all? Just like with Meg, I read so many different things. But she probably did this, and I need to hear what he has to say about it. And I mean, I don't necessarily need to hear what he has to say about it. I mean, at the end of the day, he shot her, he could have killed her, so I don't need to hear what he has to say. I don't need to hear the argument with the officers and, oh, well, they got the wrong warrant or whatever lie they're going to come with. I don't need to hear anything. All I know is the concrete proof. Just like with George Floyd, everybody, oh, well, the counterparts, well, he blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear anything to justify this terrible behavior, and especially when someone's life is lost. Like, you can't justify anything to me, period. So
yeah, no matter what, when it comes to a black person in general, they're gonna find a way to make it justified that you got killed. Like I remember when Tamir Rice got killed, and they was like, "Oh, his stepfather has a felony." Like, what does that have to do with this little boy?
Exactly.
Like, this little boy playing in the park with a gun, a cop jump out the car, shoot,
and kill him.
And y'all bring up his daddy and his mama had a domestic violence dispute 4 years before this incident. Like, what the hell does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Exactly.
Like, when Mike Brown got killed, he got suspended in 3rd grade for bringing illegal crayons to school. Like, Trayvon Martin, they try to make him a gang member. Like, every time something happens to us, they try to figure out why it was justified, what you did wrong. Like, Brianna was sleeping on the left side. She should have been sleeping on the right side.
Exactly.
Like, you'll make it a way for us to have got killed anyway. But a white person, we literally watch videos of white people snatching guns from cops, snatching their stick, whooping their ass, shooting cops, and nothing happens to them. Like, it's like,
and people can hate me for this comment, or we'll see a white woman who was out at 3, 4 in the morning, drunk as hell, hopped off at people she didn't know. She goes up missing. I don't see anybody like, oh, well, she shouldn't have. I'm just saying, like, people could disagree with me for whatever, but what I'm just saying is when it comes to us, there's a billion damn reasons why they'll justify what should have happened to us. But no one overanalyzes other victims of other races. And I'm sorry. Like you said, our own kids can get shot and killed. They're going to sit there and find something that has nothing to do with anything just to justify, just to belittle them and lessen their value. And that's the part that I'm sick and tired of, which was the second part of that episode of my podcast where I turned into we, meaning us as African Americans. We aren't protected by no means. The fact that this continues to keep happening, and the fact that people still don't understand the whole Black Lives Matter movement. Like, I just really don't understand that. And like I said, we grew up knowing about Emmett Till the way, like it was, like it's just regular knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That's just something that we, unfortunately, that image of his mutilated body, that's just something that we grew up knowing already, that, okay, these people hate us and they'll kill us. And the fact that that's still taking place now, and we still got people that are arguing up and down about Black Lives Matter. And the thing, and this may be a little off topic, but just like, for example, with the NBA players, how they like, okay, we're going to boycott. Now, me personally, when Cap had kneeled years ago, I was like, well, screw it. I'm going to stop watching football. I don't agree with how they treating him. And like, even then, everybody was like, well, that ain't gonna do anything. So it's just like, why are we arguing about people that want to stand up? At the end of the day, we don't matter. We're not being valued the way we should. And I just feel like this is a bad cycle right now when we have to do the infighting. That's the part where it just makes it worse. Like, we shouldn't have to infight over our value. We should all be coming together. And as corny as that may sound, but I just feel like it's a waste of energy when we got to do the infighting. It's like, that's just what the other side wants to hear.
Yeah, and shit. Like I don't even argue with the white people no more
Right.
because it's not that they don't understand. They understand. They just like to play dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like they want to dissipate your energy with dumb shit.
Right.
Like you talking solutions with people, you sharing information, and they want to jump on and argue stupid shit. Like,
Right.
oh well, Cap. What about this? What about Chicago? Like, what do Chicago got to do with Breonna Taylor?
Right.
Like they was in Memphis. Memphis and Chicago was two different places. Like y'all, what about black on black crime? What the hell does that have to do? How many of us are shooting police? If the police are that fearful for their lives, how many of us have shot them as compared to them shooting us?
Right.
How you scared of me and you got a gun and my hands are up and you afraid? How you afraid of my
Right.
hands?
Exactly. And I literally want someone to define to me what black on black crime is. Because when I turn on the news and I hear that Timmy from whatever cream cheese state shot up a whole freaking park full of people that look like him, I never hear white on white crime when that happens. Okay.
Exactly.
How many of us have done massacres? I'll wait. Okay, like other than that.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm just saying, name one. I mean, I would really like somebody to inbox me or email me or whatever. Show me some instances where we have done some school massacres or, just mowed down a whole freaking park or mall full of people. I haven't seen it yet. First of all, let's say we wanted to, we would have got shot and killed after just whipping the gun out anyway. Like it would never happen. But I'm just saying, show me an example where we've done it. And that's never labeled as white on white crime. But like, who the
Yeah,
hell even came up with the terminology black on black crime? So white people don't kill each other,
somebody who basically wanted to create a narrative.
right?
Like it's not like black on black crime is he's black, I'ma shoot him. I shot him because he was black. Like that
Exactly.
has nothing to do with it.
Right.
Like it's proximity. He was around the corner.
Right.
Because if that same person, no matter what skin color they were, that crime was gonna happen.
Right.
Because when white people wander off into black neighborhoods and get robbed, we don't call that black on white crime.
No.
It's just crime.
Right.
Like whenever another race does something, it's not Latino on Latino crime or Asian on Asian crime. It's just crime.
Right.
But with us, because they killing us, that's the justification. Well, they're just violent people. They shoot each other. Whoop-de-whoop. But it's like, okay, even let's just factor in, okay, we shoot each other. We not shooting police. So what makes them so fearful that they gotta approach us with a gun instead of approaching us like they approach everybody else?
Exactly. We're literally get pulled over for a tail light or something. They have the guns drawn. Why is that? Okay.
That was Sandra Bland.
Exactly. Thank you. And they still want to feed us BS about her to this day, knowing they killed her. So I mean, I don't know. I'm just really tired and exhausted, to be honest. Like it's just really draining on so many levels, and the fact that this is still going on. I mean, just like we see with the case in Wisconsin, he called the police for help. They trying to break up a fight, and you shoot somebody getting in a car. Like I don't like what. And 7 times on top of that too. Like it just makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, but like I keep telling people, like I hate to say it, but they not gonna stop till we make them stop.
Right.
Like it's until there's a repercussion for your action, you gonna keep doing.
Oh, definitely. I feel
Just
like
like
they're doing it more because they're trying to prove to us, hey, you see, nothing's gonna happen, right? Like you said, there are no repercussions.
Yeah, and it's like who's that? Langston Hughes, like black man, meek and sweet, or something. No, meek, sweet, and kind.
Right.
America beware when he changes his mind. Like at some point, like we gonna have to do something. Like you can only slap me in my face so many times before I start slapping back. Like all it took was Chris Dorner, one man, and he had the whole state of California shook. Like out here, when Chris Dorner was running around, it was literally like how quarantine was. Like you couldn't go outside, you couldn't move around. They was shutting down blocks. They was shutting down whole cities because of Chris Dorner. And like I keep telling people, like 3 or 4 more Chris Dorners, a lot of this shit gonna slow down.
Right. Right.
because it's going to be repercussion, you know, because people was like, oh, you can't root for him. Those were innocent people. So was Tamir Rice. So was Philando Castile. So was Eric Garner. Like
Exactly.
I could name 1,000 names. Like
Right.
Trayvon Martin didn't do nothing.
Right. Just
Like a
just
lot of
walking
people didn't do.
home.
They were all innocent. So no, I don't have no sympathy for those innocent people because y'all don't have sympathy for ours. Maybe those people were doing something illegal when he went over there and shot him.
Right.
Maybe he was suspicious of something they were doing. Since
Right.
we want to play that stupid ass game, like,
Right.
oh, maybe they were breaking into a car or something. Like,
But here's the funny thing, right? Just like the example you gave, what about Dylan Roof when he shot up, the people in the church? Okay, he murdered people, and they still didn't have it in them to shoot him and kill him. No, they apprehended him peacefully.
he had Burger King and a
Exactly.
vet.
Exactly. What was the other guy, the one that shot up the movie theater years ago? I mean, and on top of that, when they commit these crimes and they get arrested peacefully, they don't just get
Yeah,
arrested peacefully. They
the
have,
white dude just the other
yeah,
day was walking up the street with an AR-15 and
right.
shot and killed a couple of protesters.
Yep, like it
And
was
that was the
nothing.
illegal gun he had. And
Mm-hmm.
they just watching him walk on by. Oh, just a white dude with an AR-15. Yeah.
Yep, like it was nothing.
And
Like,
niggas getting shot for pulling out a wallet.
exactly. For doing nothing. I mean, for putting their hands up, surrendering, they still get shot. So that's the part that I just, like I said, back to that whole wow, we aren't protected. It's just it's a never ending cycle. But I do feel the same way. Like something has to give at this point because they don't have any fear at this moment. So as long as they have that boldness, I mean, we're in a bad situation because it's like they don't care. I mean, the protests, all these, I mean, obviously we live in a cell phone era. People whipping out the phones, they're getting it on tape. It's still, they like, okay, whatever. I saw one video a few weeks ago where these were these white people and they were trying to be diligent. They whipped out the phones because they saw the police had pulled over these black males. And the police literally started laughing at them like they saw they had the phones. Okay, they pulled the men over. They had them, of course, handcuffed. They pretended they was looking for stuff. They couldn't find anything on them, and they let them go. But they proceeded to also laugh at the people across the street that was taping them. Because at this point, if I just get, let's say I do something terrible, and I get some time off, but I'm still getting paid. You think they really care what's being said about them? At the end of the day, they getting paid. They on a paid vacation.
That's what I
Okay.
was telling my homeboy. I'm like, dude, paid leave is a paid vacation. Like if
It
I know
is.
if I smoke you, I'm gonna get 3 months off with pay.
Right.
Like I might be anxious to shoot me somebody. I might be waiting for you to do some goofy shit
Right.
so I can shoot you and get on vacation. It's summertime. Like, man,
Right.
I already got a trip booked. Flights is cheap. Hotel rooms is cheap.
Right.
I'll blow your brains out. I'm gonna be in Aruba chilling.
Right. Exactly.
You know, like I was telling my homeboys, like, man, I give the most props to Minnesota because they went to his house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that needs to happen every time.
Right.
Like you need to be scared to go home when you do some shit like that. You
Right.
need to find out where you stay and pull up.
Right.
Don't go burn down Target. Go to his house and do that.
Exactly.
Because you know who the perpetrator was. Go get the perpetrator. All these buildings you burning down is insured.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've been rioting since rioting been in existence.
Right.
The Watts riots, the LA riots, and we've been rioting and they keep on doing it.
Right.
So obviously that's not getting the results.
Right.
Like we need to start pulling up on who did that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even if y'all scared to do that, because you know, like we play gangster, but we really not gangster like that. Because I used to tell my homeboys in the hood all day, y'all niggas to shoot each other all day. 60 niggas shooting at 60 niggas.
Mm-hmm.
One cop pull up, 1,000 niggas throw their gun away and run away from one person.
Right.
Because his car black and white.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if y'all scared to do that, the least you could do is when they do something like this, find out who's the police chief, find out who the mayor is, find out who the attorney is over the case, and vote all of them out of office.
Right.
Pat their pockets. Oh, okay. Whoever we got to vote on that was in office when that happened, cool. You're not doing the job that we need done. So now we're gonna vote you out.
Exactly.
We're gonna make it to where you gonna lose money behind doing this shit.
And you just hit the nail on the head because unfortunately the only way I feel to get back at them and hurt them is their pockets. Other than that, they really don't care, because at the end of the day, we can tweet about them, post about them on IG, post a picture. Who cares? They're still getting paid. So that's the only
Yeah,
way to
and
get at them.
and Target didn't hurt nobody.
Mm-mm.
Like, not saying don't burn Target down, but like
Right,
the police station, find out where these dudes live. Like, it's 2020. We in the
right,
information age.
right,
Y'all probably know where all those officers live at.
right,
Like, and disclaimer, this ain't me saying to do nothing, but I'm just saying, no. Like, y'all already know what it is.
right,
Like,
right.
if like it would be like if the teacher whooped your child's ass.
Mm-hmm.
You're not finna go to the fire department and slap a firefighter.
Right.
You're not gonna go hit some random person. Like, you're not finna go kick your neighbor's door in. You're gonna go for the teacher who slapped your child.
Exactly.
So we need to start going at who does something to us instead of, oh, I'm gonna go to Forever 21 and steal all the coats out of there.
Right, right. Like, well, we
Like
gonna rash
we
up on
hustling
people.
backwards.
Right. And then about when that happens too, it plays into what they want to see us do too. So, it backfires, because they want to see us, act out on the wrong, place, or the wrong person, because they already belittle us and think that we're animals. So they sitting back loving that. And like you said, you messing up places that's heavily insured, they get money out of it anyway. Like, we have to hurt the pockets. You got to go to the source. You got to go to the heart of the snake. If you don't,
But you
like,
see, it was cops in there tearing up shit just to keep it going.
right,
Dropping off bricks on the corner, like, yeah, keep tearing up shit. Like, I was hearing about cases where people was doing insurance fraud. The owner of the business was going down there tearing up his own shit
right,
so he can get a little check. Like, oh, shit been slow since the quarantine. Let me bust my windows out.
right,
Give me a little check. That's gonna get
right.
me from upside down on my brick and mortar.
Exactly.
Like, we hustling backwards. Like, like, we just I talk about this shit on my show a lot. Like, we just need to move more strategically when shit like this happens. Like,
Mm-hmm.
people been asking me if I was gonna talk about it today, and I'm really not at length. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna mention it because
Right.
it's deserving of my mention, but I'm not gonna do a whole deep dive on some shit that I've been talking about since my show literally started. Since
Right.
episode 1, I've been talking about this. As Black people, we need to move more purposefully. Like,
Right.
we moving a lot on emotion. We
Right.
get mad, burn up shit, tear up shit, but we not moving on strategy, which is, okay, you did that. How are we gonna come back on this?
Right.
We not gonna burn up nothing.
Because we play
We gonna
checkers.
surprise.
Because we playing checkers and not chess at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, we
Exactly.
have to play chess. If we don't play chess, it's going to be the same cycle. And that's why I kept saying, when the protests first started, I'm like, okay, I don't knock the protests, long as all of them do what they have to do in November as well. Like, make sure every single one of y'all vote these fools out of office too, because that's where our thoughts at too. And I don't know. It's just a weird thing. And part of me is like, maybe it's a lack of understanding, but it's like, the things we do have control over, we got to be more diligent, in those areas. You know what I'm saying? Like, we do have the power to vote. Now, don't get me wrong. We live in a terrible little situation where shady things have happened, as we know, and they have rigged elections, but that still doesn't mean just don't vote, period.
But my thing is like this, like, it's as far as voting, because this is something that a lot of people probably gonna hear this and be like, oh yeah, I was rocking with him till he said that. I've been registered Republican for years.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a conservative, and I honestly feel like if a lot more Black people really paid attention to politics, they would be Republican. The thing that makes the Republican Party look fucked up is they have a lot of racist motherfuckers representing them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I feel like conservatism in its base is a lot of what we believe in as Black people, a lot of what we believe in a lot of times as Christians.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Republicans are into Christianity.
Right.
So a lot of that we believe in is aligned with what they represent. But the thing is, they got so many racist motherfuckers with bad intentions. We just like, nah, fuck them. We vote Democrat.
Right.
But at the same time, the Democrats is just as racist as them. They just better at lying about it.
See, and that's the
They
thing. Historically, we're Democrats. So that's just, because I'm one too. But recently, like I was telling my son, like I'm considering, independent because now, me personally, I'm not rocking with Republicans, but only like what you said is only because of the racism. But just like the things I've looked at these past few weeks, Nancy Pelosi is like really screwing us, actually. Like I'm really
exactly
like, really? Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, and it's
Bill
like
Bill
neither
Clinton
one of them
screwed it.
care. At this point, neither side cares, I feel like, about the little people in general. They just back and forth fighting like kids while people are suffering and trying to figure out what to do. So that changed my whole outlook on everything. But I just feel like at the end of the day, everyone needs to research and do what's right. Now on the flip side,
Vote local.
obviously, right, and at the end of the day, no matter what your party is, you vote for the right freaking person. Okay, they got Republicans
I,
doing Biden groups now anyway.
I say that a lot on my show, man. Vote your own interests.
Right.
Actually, look at what they proposing, look at what they offering, look at their record, and vote for what's for you. Like, cause I
Right.
don't tell everybody to vote for what helps me.
Right.
I'm a 6-figure earner.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
as I'm voting my interest, I'm voting for lower taxes because I make a lot of money.
Right.
So I don't want my taxes raised by the Democrats. Like a lot of what they talk about, I'm not into. I'm a homeowner.
Mm-hmm.
I like my Second Amendment right. I don't want them. Oh, we need to do gun control. We need to have less bullets in guns. We need to make the guns to where you can barely use them. Because at the end of the day, you can do all that gun control you want to. I'm a street nigga. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been gang banging 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like we gonna get guns.
Mm-hmm.
They can be as illegal as they want to. Assault rifles are illegal in California. You think we ain't got them?
Right.
We got a lot of them.
Right.
Everything that's illegal in California, we got it somewhere. So it ain't no thing where, oh, if we make the guns illegal, no, nigga, they still gonna be on the street. We gonna have them. Now, since they illegal, the legal citizens don't got them. So when you trying to protect your house with a piece of paper that says those are illegal and I break in your house with a gun,
Right.
you ass out.
Right.
So like a lot of what their policies is, we voting against our own interests a lot of time just because they go on the Breakfast Club and say, I love black people.
Right. I
Yeah,
love
I
hot
have hot
sauce.
sauce on me right now.
Right.
I listen to Ludacris all day.
Right.
Yeah, sister girl.
Right.
Like we gotta stop falling for that shit because they never offer us nothing tangible. Like a lot of the politicians on the other side, when they look at other groups, it's like, oh, what does LGBTQ want? Oh, marriage? Cool, we got that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you Latinos, you want to come over the border? Yeah, we'll open that up for you. Okay, white people, what y'all want? Oh, okay, some tax breaks? Yeah, we got that for you. Black people? Oh, what do you want? Oh yeah, fuck you. Look, I can do the fucking Dougie.
Right.
I can bring a rapper on tour with me
Right.
and he can come and speak and say some shit. But I'm not gonna give y'all a damn thing because they know we want reparations. And when you say reparations, they say, well, that's kind of divisive.
Yeah.
So we have some criminal reform.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna let some people out of jail. And what about underserved communities?
Right.
We're gonna do something for the underserved communities. The police still gonna smoke you.
Right.
We're still gonna give money to the police unions
Mm-hmm.
because they fill our pockets. We're gonna fill theirs. We're shaking hands with them. So y'all still gonna get knocked down because we talk about, oh, we got to get Trump out of office. All these black people getting shot. Philando Castile and all them was up under Obama.
Right.
Trayvon was under Obama. Tamir was under Obama. So it don't matter who the president is. We got to vote locally in these small cities and these groups and see we got these racist ass judges,
Right.
police chiefs and all. We need to get them the fuck out of there because Trump ain't going to start or stop nothing.
Right, and I have had that conversation. I had a politician on a few, maybe last month or so, and we discussed it. I think some people just they don't understand the president. At the end of the day, no matter who's in that office, doesn't have as much power as we're led to. Well, it's not even what we're led to believe. That's just civics class, quite frankly. But if you don't vote for your local legislators, like you just said, you know how many racist judges, legislators, senators. I mean, it all goes up to the top. We have to just be more diligent and we have to do our research. We can't. That's the problem.
And jury duty.
exactly. We just, I don't know. We all
We
have
need
to
to do
educate
jury duty
ourselves.
because a lot of niggas is going to jail because the reason there's a white jury in a black town is because when we get that jury duty paper, we throw that
Throw it
motherfucker
away.
away. Like,
Right.
I don't want to do jury duty.
Right.
White people, they love doing jury duty.
Right.
That's they shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing my civil duty. I'm gonna put these criminals away. You're not
Right.
putting a criminal away. You're putting a nigga away. You
Right.
see a nigga and assume he's a criminal.
Right.
Once he sat down, you was like, that nigga looks guilty.
Right, because
We're gonna
the
get him off
jury
the
is
street.
supposed to be our peers, and how often is that the case? So that's why we have to start thinking more. And like I said, we have to start playing chess and not checkers in general. And I feel like a lot of things would change. And at the end of the day, look at the Senate and Congress. It's a bunch of old people who are completely out of touch with everything. So whether they're a Democrat or a Republican, we still need some new people up there. Because until then, like, this is going to be a continuing cycle. And it's a really unfortunate thing because something does have to change, but that's something that we do have control over. We do have control over going in that poll and voting and at least making an effort to get people out. I just feel like a lot of times some of the people that have made it in office is because some of us just, like you said, we're not even paying attention to what's going on locally and realizing, okay, well, I better vote so-and-so out. There's enough of us in my town to get this person out. Okay.
Yeah, because Scarface, the rapper,
Mm-hmm.
he ran in Houston and lost.
Yeah.
Like how you this love in your community and lose.
Right.
Because obviously the people who really got love for you ain't vote.
Right.
Like we ran to the polls to vote for Obama.
Mm-hmm.
And I ask niggas all the time, what did he do specifically for us?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you can name one thing, I'll give you $100 cash right now. Like, something he did for us that wasn't for everybody. Don't tell me health care. Tell me something he did that the reason us as black people voted for him. Because we didn't vote for that nigga just because health care.
Right.
We thought that nigga gonna give us reparations or something.
Well,
something
I
going
didn't vote for
trickle
him for
down the
those
hood.
reasons, but I just wish people would have that same enthusiasm in every election. And it's like, it's to the point where it feels like it's corny when you try and talk about voting to some people because they just don't want to hear it, or they just always point out, well, nothing changes. It's like, well, yeah, we continue with that attitude, and I'm not saying it's going to solve everything in the world because it's not. But I just feel like that is something that we do have a hand in. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it starts from the bottom. Everyone's looking at Trump and getting him out. Now, me personally, yeah, I would love to see him out of office. But on the flip side, let's say he gets voted out. But let's say he gets voted out in December, right? I live in Louisiana. Louisiana is a racist state. So let's say he leaves, right, in November, but then we still got these racist judges where I live at.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, and we got to start actually participating in the political process.
Correct.
Like, run for city council.
We got less than 2 minutes, so I'll let you round it out.
But yeah, like just to wrap it up as black people, we need to just start participating in the process. Like run for city council, because we got a voice too. Homeowners,
right?
If you grew up in this city and you really got love for the city that you from, especially if it's some bullshit going down in your town, because a lot of people know the city they live in. It's like, oh, these fucked up police and these fucked up this. Man, run for office.
Right.
Go get you a group of motherfuckers who everybody from your job, then run and get your little petition and all of that shit and actually participate so you can have a say-so in these rooms where all the 38 white people running the city of 5 million black people.
Right.
Your whole town black, but everybody running the town is white. That shit don't even make sense. And a lot of towns are run like that because white people love to get involved in their politics.
Right.
They love to run their shit. Us, we let another motherfucker run.
Right. And then we don't understand why we're not being treated right. So we got 30 seconds left. I want to thank you for joining in. Everybody that's listening, definitely go listen to Too Much Game podcast. And like I said, if you guys have 45 minutes. Go ahead and listen to my latest episode. It was the WAP episode, but it was We Are Protected. And like I said, I talked about both ends, women and us as a whole. Less than 10 seconds, so you know how I'm going to end this, y'all. Go love yourself and protect yourself too, and take care of yourself. So thank you, Young Dolemite. Like, I appreciate
Thank
you
you for
so
having
much.
me.
And let me just say this before I